I feel like it's fair to say that most feed stores anymore have become a bit more like everything stores. Well, you go in and you're like, everything's a Stanley cup and everything's a Yellowstone emblazoned t-shirt. And it's actually really hard to talk to someone and go, what chicken feed is good? I felt like our community had lost its third space where like ranchers can just hang out. And so we wanted to bring that back.
Welcome back to the On Land Podcast, a show about the people shaping the future of the American West. Today, we're chatting with Caroline and Justin Nelson, the powerhouse ranching couple behind Little Creek Feed in Townsend, Montana, and the owners of Little Creek Lamb and Beef, a direct-to-consumer meat company that prioritizes care for the land, the animals, and the people sustained by both. I recently drove up to Townsend to see Caroline and Justin's Feedstore for a piece I wrote in our spring issue of On Land magazine, and we quickly became fast friends. As you'll listen, I think you'll understand why. We talk about what it was like to start a business while expecting their first child, why they're so committed to quality local and regional products and top-notch customer service, the origins and growth of their meat business, and so much more. I'm Zach Altman, this is On Land, and here's my conversation with Caroline and Justin Nelson.
I'm Caroline Nelson. I'm Justin's wife and Morgan's mom and rancher, shepherdess, and now feed store owner with my husband.
I'm Justin Nelson. A lot of things behind the scenes. Caroline's the face of all of this and does an amazing job.
You farm?
I farm, take care of the animals, and yeah.
And you run the feed side of things.
Run the feed side of things, for sure.
Awesome. How the heck did you guys meet? If you want to share publicly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, first night that we met, I ended up getting my pickup stuck in the ditch, and everyone from the ranch she was working for just happened to show up, and it was extremely embarrassing.
They had to come get your truck out of the ditch.
Had to come get my
we had to
pickup
call
out of the
for
ditch.
help, so then we were trying to have this like sneaky first date, but then everybody found out.
Within half an hour, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We actually...
We met here, actually.
We met
really.
here. This...
Before that.
Yeah, the building used to be a different feed store and had gas pumps outside, and that's where I spotted him and decided he would be mine.
I shall have him.
But it took us a while to like actually meet. But yeah, the meeting was kind of... You were embarrassed, but
the first official date, I was very embarrassed, yeah. But...
I thought it was endearing.
Yeah.
And then we pretty much, we were 18, so on and off and up and down for years, and then
we finally moved here in
2017.
2017.
Cool. Where did you each grow up?
I grew up here mostly. I bounced around a little bit and left for a while for different jobs around the state and North Dakota. But farmed for most of my life.
Sweet.
I was in Townsend working as a ranch hand when I spotted Justin, but I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm from the suburbs. I grew up with horses, but aside from that, like nothing in ranching was in my background, and I just fell in love with it. So that's kind of...
Yeah, and I didn't have a ranching livestock background either, mostly farming things. So I dove into it with Caroline.
Cool. Side tangent. Where in Pennsylvania?
Eastern, like outside of Reading.
Okay. I grew up in southeastern Ohio.
What town or what area?
A little Columbiana County.
Okay.
Mahoning County.
Okay. So we're right there.
Yeah.
We're neighbors.
Hey.
We're still probably like 6 hours away though, or more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A day's drive,
Yeah.
which is impossibly far in that part of the country compared to here. Like, I'll drive 6 hours across Montana and be like, oh, okay, that's a day trip.
Yeah.
But there, it's like, I'm never going that far.
Never. You would never.
Never want to.
In, like, Appalachia. That's great. So, I'm trying to understand the timeline of you all getting into ranching for yourselves here. What was that chain of events that led you to start Little Creek Lamb and Beef?
Caroline saw a Craigslist ad for 5 free Icelandic sheep. And then she said, we should go get these. And I thought it'd be great, have a few sheep around to keep the weeds down even. And they were all pregnant. and like a week or two later, they lambed,
Mm-hmm.
and Caroline was hooked. And
Yeah.
we grew the flock since then, and it turned into a real thing. Then we
Yeah.
got
Wow.
cows, and we have calves, and
Finish our beef.
finish our beef.
Yeah, I think the first year we only processed like a couple steers, and then now we do quite a few. Our situation's a little unconventional. I always call us like ranchers without a ranch. We operate entirely on leased and borrowed and kind of work trade arrangements. And so yeah, we've just had to get creative on like what we could raise, and the sheep were kind of a way in for us because they don't need a lot of land, but you can raise a lot of like grass-fed lamb on a pretty small acreage. So,
Mm.
and then yeah, got into beef.
Yeah, sheep was a great way into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool to hear. I got a thing for sheep. I haven't addressed that itch yet, but
Yeah,
I'm sheep curious.
or
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
We're behind your decision on that.
Awesome. I'll be bugging you.
All right.
Were you thinking even then, like, I mean, once you ended up with some lambs, were you thinking, oh, let's just build this whole direct-to-consumer enterprise thing? Or how was your thinking at that time?
I was kind of on the early edge of this big like Instagram rancher boom that I would say has like since now it's like very common to ship meat. A lot of people do it, and so I was following one or two people that were doing it. I took their course on how to ship meat, and I was all in from the beginning of like I knew that our specialty lamb was never going to bring us a return taking them to market to sell as a commodity. It just wasn't going to pencil out, so we had to sell them direct. And I knew I wanted to sell like whole animal butchery and do sheepskins and horns and like really preserve as much of the animal that we could. So that's always how we started out. I think my first year I pre-sold like 15 lamb shares, and I didn't even know how to ship, so I just like guessed what shipping would cost. I was wrong. Guessed what the lamb would cost. I was wrong. And then the thing about sheep is they multiply pretty fast. So we went from having a flock of 5, we now have 100 ewes, breeding ewes.
Wow.
And that happened fast, just a couple of years. We bought a few other people's flocks and things like that, but yeah, we have a lot of sheep now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Was that 2017 that you got those first? Like
Probably
when you moved back?
2019. I
2019,
moved
I
here in
think.
2017.
Oh my
I was a
gosh.
ranch hand
Yeah.
for a couple years and then got the sheep. And
Wow.
so, yeah, it's only 2025. And I want to say we started doing beef in like 2020, 2021.
I think we added beef about
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2020, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And so you're leasing all your land. How's that going? And how'd you get to that point? How's that work?
It's hard. Land's competitive, so we take up or try to get small chunks, I guess. Our leases are very small, stuff that most people don't really want or will look over. It's not worth their time.
Oh, okay.
Friends mostly, word of mouth, and just we're growing, trying to expand that too. So
Yeah, I would say it's been a great way in. It was the only way in for us. Couldn't afford to buy anything, still can't. But it is limiting, and you can't really plan. Feels like I do feel that we're limited. Like on the beef side, it's hard because we don't really have the space to finish more and raise more, and we could probably sell more, but I try to trust that like what's right at the right time will be there for us. So
yeah, and we like regenerative things and different types of grasses and all put back into the soil, and it's difficult to do that on lease land, which we do when we work on it, but
Right.
and you never know how long you're going to be there, so
Yeah, that's a tricky.
there's a lot of hurdles, but doing everything, doing what we can.
So are you on irrigated pasture or like unirrigated
some
range
irrigated,
land? What's the
some dry land.
for the sheep, they pretty much stay on irrigated because irrigated tends to be like lower in the valley, more close to the house.
Better for predators.
Predator control, we can kind of keep them close. The cattle, we have kind of a work trade pasture rent that they go up in the mountains all summer.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Cool. How, at least on the sheep side, how do you manage them? What all are you doing with the pastures? Are you night penning? Like, just give me the download of how you
Yeah.
manage your sheep.
Well, I will give you the full. We're in flux right now with the sheep flock. The fact is, the store is like really kind of where we need to be, especially for the upcoming summer. It's like our first real summer open, and we were pretty busy last summer, and we didn't have hardly any products here. So I think we're going to be really busy this
Cool.
summer, and so I am having to get real about like what and how much rotational grazing I can do, which I think is going to be like 0. And so we're going to keep our butcher lambs, like our harvest group. We have enough pasture to kind of rotate them, and we have enough infrastructure where that's pretty easy. Like the fence is already there, and all we have to do is move them. But I am offering our breeding flock for lease, and so we're pursuing a couple options where someone else would take over management, and then we would have kind of an arrangement of a crop share of the lamb crop. So we would stay in business, and we would kind of be raising our share of the lambs and finishing them. So we'd still have grass-fed lamb, but I would be out of the day-to-day of that. So, yeah, that's
Not
just
forever, though.
not forever.
Yeah.
We're hoping, eventually we can own something in the town where we live.
That can support more animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our son's very young. It's kind of like a demanding age.
Kind of.
But
Yeah.
in general, our sheep practices right now, I would say they move about once a week and not more often. Simply just manpower.
Yeah.
We like to do like no-till multi-species planting and grazing. So I think their main pasture is like 11 species of planted irrigated grasses and legumes.
Cool.
We try to limit deworming and very limit antibiotics. We're not going to withhold like appropriate care to an animal, but for our meat program, if they get an antibiotic, they get tagged a different color, and like that's just what we eat.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And yeah, just good minerals. It's one of the drivers behind the feed store is like, let's find
Having
some
good product and stuff.
good products for our own
Take
animals
better
that
care of our own animals. Yeah.
we want to feed.
Mhm.
So yeah, good minerals and yeah, whole animal use, nothing going to waste. So we're making dog beds out of our scrap wool. We do natural sheepskin tanning out of the sheepskins. We do dog treats and chews out of the lungs and the offal and all the organs. And yeah, just try to, we use the horns. We use everything.
Yep. We package our organs even for dog food and or treats, I suppose.
That's incredible. What kind of sheep and why?
They're called Icelandic sheep. They're this cool heritage ancient breed. They're not very improved, which means they're kind of slow growers, but they're great for a grass-fed program, and the meat is amazing. It's like the best lamb most people have ever had. And why? I think it was a little bit of like fate. They were just on Facebook, and the post was like, "Take them away. I hate these things. Like someone come get them." And
they're pregnant, but you
and they're all ready.
You didn't know
to
that,
tell
right?
me.
When
No.
you got them? Okay.
He wanted them gone so bad. There was a ram in that original group, and the ram was kind of wouldn't join the group and was running away. And he's like, "I'll get him, And they duck behind this like lean-to, and he's wrestling, trying to grab this lamb, this ram lamb. And he comes back, and he has blood like pouring down his face. And he's like, "I got him." And
Well, give him 2 black eyes by the end of it. Oh, I felt
What?
bad.
like
but
these sheep are pretty feral. One of the reasons I love them is for that. They don't flock the way traditional sheep groups flock.
they're pretty hardy.
They're like independent.
Mhm.
But they can be a little hard to manage. Like they can get out of anything. They'll fight you. Like we have sold the fighty ones, but like we've had a ram that we're like, all right, go away.
Yeah, it wasn't that safe to be around.
Yeah, like they're
Wow.
they're survivors,
They are definitely.
which is great most of the
Had
time.
some
But
good bread out of them.
Does that help with predator pressure at all?
Yeah, we haven't had hardly any
therefore.
issues.
yeah, we do have a livestock guardian dog, but she's like only somewhat effective.
Yeah.
She'll
I don't know.
She wanders.
she wanders. Yeah. I guess if a coyote sees her, it might get scared. I don't know if
Yeah.
she'll do anything. But
Yeah.
It's something.
Mhm.
Are you
Something.
electric fencing them, or how's the?
Mhm.
Yep. Electric net fencing and
Chargers and move the water. Usually we're on these irrigated pastures too, and so we can just tap into the irrigation for their like drinking water, and that
Mhm.
works
great.
pretty well.
yeah, get tired of putting fence up and taking it down, though.
Yeah, we do. And like, you got to go in and mow because along the electric lines,
Yeah.
it has to be like netting. We have found just having like one or two strands ain't gonna do it. Like
No, it's like
yeah.
their wool insulates or
So yeah,
doesn't shock them or something.
we go in and we mow and then put the netting up. Mm-hmm.
Do you have to night pen them, or are they just in their pasture doing their thing?
Not where we currently are.
Yeah.
And we just don't have anywhere that we have even a night pen, so we just don't.
Mm-hmm.
The electric
They
fence
do well.
is its own predator deterrent as well.
Yeah.
So especially the netting, like coyotes can't get in.
Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you mostly coyotes? Do you have wolves up here?
A
No,
few.
yeah.
They're not I haven't heard of them being an issue. So
Domestic dogs are the big.
domestic dogs are
Not
the
even
biggest one.
coyotes. Like it's
Yeah.
really people's
God.
dogs.
Yeah.
So they hit that fence and they turn around.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. that's
And
good.
we've kind of learned and found that you don't need to mitigate every predator either. There's lots of coyotes that won't bother your sheep, and I think.
Yeah, we pretty much we're not like, oh, we need to shoot every coyote we see. Like
No.
definitely they just don't seem to bother the flock that much.
Yeah. And
They want easier prey, I think, for the most part.
Yeah. And
They're like, these
probably
sheep
is.
are fighting back.
go hunt a gopher instead.
Yeah.
They have horns.
Yeah, they have horns.
So I'm asking this selfishly, as I said I was sheep curious earlier. What have you learned from the way you've gone about pursuing your meat company? Or what's one or two things you've learned? There's probably so many.
Oh. Maybe I don't understand the question that well.
What should I do?
What should you do?
Like if you were to do it again, what would you do differently?
Oh, I don't know if I'd change a lot.
I would say like specialty crops like sheep and in 2025 you got to tell the story of it. Like there's a lot of customer education. I think the social media aspect has been really helpful. Like we're eating it all the time, cooking it, normalizing it, and telling the story and why it's good. I think if we were trying to wholesale it or trying to not, direct market it without that kind of marketing, organic marketing, I think it would be hard.
Mm-hmm.
Beef is a lot easier to sell. Like our lamb is really good, but I need people to try it. Like they're not going to they need to taste it or, just buy a few pounds. Whereas beef, people are like, yeah, send me 15 pounds. Like
Everybody
know
knows
they're
they
gonna
like
it.
beef.
Yeah.
Right.
You almost have to sell the lamb, and then once people try it, they always come back. Love it. Especially our breed. I think it's better than most.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's challenges with it. They're slow growing. They're small. Butchers have to charge you the same as if they're processing a much bigger lamb. And so
it costs us more per pound.
It costs us more per pound. Yeah, it's expensive to produce for sure. And we did have some challenges before we got into our own feed and mineral. I think we had some deficiencies. We had just a year where it felt like everything went wrong with the sheep flock. We had like chronic colds, like just sniffles and runny noses, and we had worm issues with parasites because they're not super resistant to the parasites in this country. Like they're not from here.
Right.
And so like I had our son and I got a little sloppy on not rotating them as much or leaving them places a little longer, and like immediately I saw that they had
negative effects. There's some learning curves for sure.
So sometimes I'm like, why didn't I just get normal sheep? This was so hard. But now I feel like we have kind of the program that works, but the learning curve was steep for sure.
Yeah
the storytelling piece. I mean, what's your like how do you think about storytelling for this business? I mean, you have a pretty large Instagram following. Is that your main avenue for doing that sort of customer communication stuff? Yeah,
primarily we tell our story through social media, and then we have an email list and a website. I try not to overthink it. I try
Yeah.
to truly just share what we're doing. I don't plan things. I don't schedule content. I don't have a strategy. I don't have content pillars. I don't have any of that stuff. I've done all the social media classes. I've tried all that stuff, and I just think it's all BS, and people find it boring. So I don't even post on a schedule. I'll go weeks and not post, and then I'll post every day. It's like I genuinely, the way I think about it is I want to post something that I am happy that it exists regardless of a single person sees it or not. And that way I try to stay like at peace with my content, whether it performs, whether it doesn't. It's like I would share this. I just want this on my camera roll. I just like it. This is it's like a digital scrapbook of our lives. And I really try, when I'm marketing, I try to come from a place of like, this is a good cut of meat. You might like it.
Yeah.
Not like, buy my dinner. I think we're all just so sick of being marketed to, and
Yeah, absolutely.
it's exhausting.
Advertisements everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like trying not to do that.
Not as much. There's still some things we advertise, our sales and things, but
Yeah. Justin actually does great on social media.
Tell me more.
I know
not
you're
very
so,
outgoing,
like-
and I get awkward and nervous, but
I don't know. Like, I just feel like people are so sick of me after all these years. They're so happy to see someone else.
it's my classic good looks.
That's your
Yeah.
classic good looks. Yeah.
So, not only do you run this livestock direct-to-consumer brand, you also, you got the feed store, and you also have this cowgirl camp that you fired up a couple years ago, if I'm correct. What was the impetus? What is cowgirl camp, and what was the impetus for that?
Cowgirl Camp is our women's Western riding retreat. It's all about like reconnecting to your grit, to your inner child, to your inner horse girl, and like real skill building and sort of a welcoming entry to Western lifestyle, Western riding in a way that's, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I think anyone who's coming into sort of Western riding, lifestyle, ranching from the outside can be a bumpy ride, like not always the most welcoming. I mean, I was very lucky, but even I had experiences of like, ooh, I no one's showing me what to do. I'm not sure if I'm wanted here. And so we try to,
syndrome.
yeah, a lot of imposter syndrome. We try to sort of combat that. It's like a very warm, welcoming atmosphere, and all the team that runs it is like everyone's working on the land, in ranching, or sort of some version of being an outdoors woman.
Yeah, and a lot of them don't come from ranching backgrounds either. They've just faded their way into it.
So it went super viral. It's been like this amazing, we started it, I think, right before COVID. And so there was like a big desire for experiences at that time. And I framed the camps. They were kind of a gift to me of like, what kind of thing would I have wanted to go to as I came into this world? So yeah, they got super viral. They're these amazing, we've been so lucky, like the amazing women that come, then they tell their friends. And so they always, at least so far, have sold out really fast. We fill up really fast. We don't really advertise for them. And yeah, we work with ranches that have kind of all the existing infrastructure, but don't really want to do that many events or the marketing. They don't want to run events. They're like, we have these cabins, we have these horses, we use them for ourselves, but we don't want to book the caterer. So we do all that. We come with the whole team.
Cool.
Yeah.
How many are you doing this year?
So last year I did 8, and it almost killed me. It was actually so fun, but with the baby, it was in the store. It was too much. I know.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. Justin saw the worst of me, but yeah, this year I'm doing 4.
4 sounds good. Yeah.
4 sounds good. Yeah, my mom comes and she'll watch our son, and like
okay.
Justin drives. We pick everybody up in a bus. He drives the bus.
About my only part in the camps, really. It is a women's retreat, so I do what I can and then stay away.
Yeah, and we have so much fun with. They're so magical, and I have the best team ever. And like, yeah, I love doing it. I sort of wish I could do like 12, if I had the perfect world and we could all go on the road and live in our camper and like just do this all the time. But with the store, like, yeah, I'm just doing 4.
Cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then there's the store.
Yeah.
And
We're,
there's the
we're
store.
here. We can hear the refrigerators humming along
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
all the good local meats and dairy.
Mm-hmm.
What is the origin of Little Creek Feed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It was your fault.
that was my fault. Caroline was pregnant. I don't know where you're 8 months along, maybe.
Yeah.
And we met in Helena for lunch, and I looked at her and said, we should start a feed store. And she said, that's not a bad idea. Because she wanted to start a store for these other products too. We're not, I guess, a traditional feed store.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted better quality products and better service wanted to bring that to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of snowballed into what it is today.
Like literally, we had our son,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was the next day we were like emailing,
Negotiating.
lease terms. Like it was.
Wow.
It wasn't the next day, but probably the day
It
after
was
that.
the next day.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And the perfect space just happened to be available. And so we're in this building. We call it the Townsend Mercantile. So there's 3 businesses here, and we all share the space and the utilities and the rent. Thank God. And so we also kind of help each other, like with foot traffic. You can come in and get an ice cream cone and get your chicken
Tacos,
feed and get some tacos.
I'm over there
and
every day.
get some jewelry.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there's everything here. It's very fun. We all are really good friends too. And so the space became available, and we knew that we had to, if we were going to do this, we had to start in the summer when it's like the busy season. We couldn't open in the fall.
Yeah.
We wouldn't make it. And so our son was born in March, and our first day open was June 8th, and we renovated the building for about 8 weeks
Mhm.
prior to that. So it was like April, we went right into renovations.
Yeah, every day we're here working on something with the
Mhm.
baby and pass him around, and it was actually kind of a fun time.
It was really fun. It was like one of those times where you look back where you're like, this is really hard in the moment, but these are like going to be some of the best times of our whole life.
Mhm.
Like it was so fun, like
Wow.
staining boards, and he's in the carry.
He'd stop, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Like
We just had a
feeding
baby.
him right over,
Yeah.
Yeah. A
Wow.
lot came together.
Fast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was the void in the community that you saw that you wanted to fill there?
I feel like it's fair to say that most feed stores anymore have become a bit more like everything stores, almost like a Western Walmart kind of. Like you go in and you're like, everything's a Stanley cup and everything's a Yellowstone emblazoned like t-shirt. And it's actually really hard to talk to someone and go, what chicken feed is good? Like I need a bale of hay. Like where even is that? And so we wanted to bring that back. I wanted that feeling again. I felt like our community had lost its third space where like ranchers can just hang out. And that part is still something that we're building up. I'm looking for like the perfect seating, and I want to build some more seating in here.
Yeah, we want to be more, want to know everyone and be more community oriented,
Mhm.
and I'm still learning things every day. So
Yeah.
we're
We
doing our
had
best
no
to bring
idea.
the
Like,
best. Go
I
ahead.
think it's fair to say that we wanted to do this. We thought it might work, but we had no idea like
Yeah.
if people would want it.
Mhm.
Um,
How weren't sure how it would be received.
yeah, especially the meat. I was like,
Yeah.
everyone here can buy a 4-H steer, or they can raise their own beef.
Everyone raises beef here.
Yeah, like, and our beef is super popular. I was blown away. I didn't know, and it's also so much more expensive than grocery store beef. It's
Right.
USDA inspected, dry aged, premium, whatever. So I didn't know if people would want that, and they do.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Wow.
we knew we loved it. So
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the reception been overall? I mean, have you felt like people are excited that you're here, or is it a slow burn?
Well, if
what's
people
the
are saying
feeling?
negative things, they're not telling us. So I don't.
I think we're doing
I
great.
think
All right.
so. I
Sounds
don't
In
like
our world, we're
100%
just the
positive
best
review.
there is.
Yeah, I think it's been good. I'm constantly blown away. It's one of those things where if you build it, will they come? You just hope they
Yes.
will. And like every day people show up again, and we have regulars, and it's always so scary. It's like, will anyone want this beet pellet? Like you're just not sure. And
Yeah.
we are refining things all the time. We're figuring out, oh, this works, this doesn't, but we're so small that literally if one person comes in and is like, I really want this brand of dog food, like we'll probably get it for them.
Yeah.
If if it seems like a good dog food, because like
Mhm.
we're small. If you're gonna buy this once every 2 weeks, it's worth it for us to carry it.
Yeah.
We're very responsive, I think, to the community, so that
Yeah. It gets intimidating at times though. People come in, it's like, you've been in this lifestyle twice in my life, or 20 years longer than I've been alive. And
yeah,
I, I don't know.
in the sense of like
The
they're asking
imposter
questions
syndrome
and you're
thing.
like,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
you freeze up a little. Like,
Oh.
You do
please
really
like
great.
me.
No,
Yeah,
you
please
do so great.
approve.
Yeah.
I think Justin, it's been so cool to watch you do this because you are not a salesy. You're not trying to sell anyone anything that isn't right or good. And you're not trying to pretend you know more than you do. So you'll often be like, hey, let's sit down together and like research this. And I'll tell you what I know and I'll tell you what I can learn. I have some people I can call, but it's very much not like, yeah, we're not pushy and
No, I'm not knocking on doors, and
no.
I think some people do that, and it gets annoying. So I'm not trying to be that salesperson.
Mhm.
Right. But there if you need it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, what was it like building out the feed side of things? I mean, there's probably like a weird balance of you need to have inventory to sell product,
Yeah,
but you
that
also
was-
need
that was
cash
difficult.
to do that. So
That was difficult because I know there's products we liked, so get those in obviously, and then where do you go from there? Other people have different programs than we run. Um, that was difficult to figure out what we needed to carry. I'm still working on it today. We're getting new things in all the time that people ask for, and if there's enough people asking about it, we'll carry it.
I would say like you're really great at, okay, people want alfalfa pellets. We're gonna get an alfalfa pellet in, and then you listen to people. They'll say, actually, I want a smaller pellet or I want a bigger pellet for these and these reasons with my horse or my mule.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, let me find it, and we're constantly refining, I would say, and being
Yeah, I
like,
would say. And I'm trying to get more local Montana products all the time.
Mhm.
Um,
And we have to get really creative, or you get really creative of like how to get stuff here. We don't have huge order minimums. Like we can't afford
yeah.
to
yeah,
get
we were small, so
a huge semi truck from Redmond, to get a bunch of products. Like we have to be super creative. You've worked with other feed stores of like sharing loads and, how can we met a
Oh,
guy
wow.
who sold us kelp like on the side of the highway. Like we could not find it anywhere.
Yeah.
And he had some from like the coast.
Yep.
Wow.
It was,
Yeah. And Justin's amazing at like you found our forklift for a really good price. We couldn't afford like anything $1 more than it was. And you
Mhm.
repaired it and turned it into something.
turned
It
into a
it
good
fell
outfit.
through our trailer on the
It
way here.
did.
Like it's so heavy that it broke the like,
It fell through the deck of the trailer.
Oh,
It
yeah,
my God.
like just you've been so amazing at making it work for what we could afford.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about the financing picture of this. I
Yeah.
mean, could you get conventional funding? How did you do this?
We did not get conventional funding. We tried to a little bit, but we're not. Our business model isn't conventional.
And maybe I guess we'll say like we couldn't get timely funding,
Yeah.
as in they couldn't get it done in like 3 months, and we were like, we're opening in June.
Like, this is our deadline. We need to have this done.
Yeah. And
Mm.
there was a lot of like wanting so much collateral. Like basically in order for us to get a very small loan, we needed like 2 to 3 times that amount in collateral, twice that amount in collateral, because we are not like selling commodities, because they didn't, they didn't want the inventory to be its own collateral. There was all kinds of stuff like that, and we felt like we were being asked to leverage too much.
I didn't want to tie up my hand equipment and our vehicles, and
Yeah, like our
Yeah.
personal vehicles, and
and then we got so close to opening day and we haven't gotten our financing, and we were this far in and said, we'll just build inventory as we go. As we sell stuff,
Yeah.
bring more stuff in. We'll just do it this way. And
we had no employees in the beginning.
nope.
So we had no payroll. And then in July, Luke came on. So we were open like a month before Luke came on. And then he was the only employee.
He helped for a few weekends
yeah,
before.
yeah, like part-time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
And we
we
got
were
really
like,
lucky with
oh,
Luke.
we can't run this. We're open like 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. We cannot do this with a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we started building out the team, but I mean, the community really showed up for us in June, July, and August, and so that allowed us, like, we ended the year pretty much at like a break even, which
Wow.
was amazing, all things considered.
That's huge.
And just having to get the inventory, and we're still going through this. Like, there's still empty shelf space, there's still wall space here, we could sell stuff. I don't want to sell stuff just to sell it. I don't want to bring stuff in just to bring it in. Like, genuinely, I want to look around and love and believe in every single thing we sell.
Yeah.
I think you feel that way on the feed side.
I definitely
and
do. Yeah.
if something isn't good, we get rid of it.
Yeah.
I
feel like our store isn't overly stocked right now, but looking back at pictures from the beginning, it's
we thought we had so much stuff. It
we
was
did.
empty. Like,
It's a little embarrassing.
yeah,
looking
I
back at
could
it.
barely fill one shelf. And
Thanks for everybody that came in anyway.
Yeah, that's great.
truly, like, how did we
I
sell
don't know.
anything? How did we have any sales?
I don't know.
Everyone was so supportive and so cool about it. And yeah, it's like, I just feel like this whole thing has been a gigantic financial trust fall. But the way that I think we both looked at it was like, if let's say no one comes ever again right now, I'll use the heck out of those beeswax candles. Like, we'll feed the heck out of that salt. Like,
it might take years,
it might take years,
but
but we will use all this stuff. And I felt like we weren't bringing in anything that we weren't comfortable having, like holding, and that we couldn't sell. And also, I feel like trying to be fair on price and not gouge people. And it's definitely more expensive than I thought to run a store. I've been massively eyes open to it, but realizing, like, if people understand, our products are often more expensive because what we're paying is more. Like, the jams are better jams than, they're made in Bozeman, they're amazing organic ingredients, but our markup is smaller than if you're going to go to Walmart. And I think people understand, like, they want to vote for that a little bit.
And pricing can be hard because I'm not ordering truckloads of feed at a time. So we have to keep our margins down just to stay competitive. And doing the best we can there.
But, like, I didn't even actually know how to calculate a margin. I just learned, like, a month ago.
A little bit.
We've been humbled a lot along the way. But yeah, the financial piece has been, like, totally crazy. And I do think there's a huge gap in traditional institutions being willing to finance creative community endeavors beyond just, like, I'm going to grow a commodity and sell it on the market. Like, it was crazy how hard it was to try to be like, no, we're going to sell, like, our beef and candles. People were like, I don't know. Like, ugh. I just didn't think it was that crazy. Yeah. Like, these stores
you
exist.
don't like a candlelit dinner? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just weird. And but it worked out, thank goodness.
Yeah, it seems like it's going well from the outside.
I hope so.
I guess.
I think so.
I was curious, you guys have a strong digital presence, direct to consumer. I'm imagining a good portion is shipped nationwide. Is that true?
Probably half our meat.
I would think.
Wow. And so then you're like, let's just start a brick and mortar store. That seems really scary to me. I mean, I grew up in my career, I guess, doing e-commerce. And so I like know how that works and think about it. And like, I'm always interested, like, if Casey, my wife, starts some sort of enterprise, I'm thinking about value added products that are shelf stable, that I can ship, that are light to ship, all that stuff. Well, how are those value added products? How do they do for you in your business? And then B, how did you connect the dot from, we have this great thing going online to, like, let's get in person?
Oh, yeah. So we love doing the value added products. We do, like, dog treats with our organs. We do cast iron seasoning sticks with our tallow, and getting into some more tallow products. And then we do, like, these seasonings that we love. We've done them from the beginning. We make those in house, and we have a commercial kitchen right on site here as part of the feed store. So I'm always trying to weigh, like, just running the numbers. Does it make sense for us to make it, or can we source it for something just as good or better from someone local who's already doing this? So there are some things that I'm like beeswax candles. Could we mold our own beeswax? Sure. Does that make sense for us to do? No. Like, we're not going to be doing, like, specialized, stuff like that. We have an amazing beeswax supplier. So trying to find The thing that's been cool is like I have met so many small farmers and small producers and makers from being on Instagram for a bajillion years. And so when we opened the store, I had like 15 people. I already was like, I need to sell your candles. I need to sell, just looking around, like, you know, we have like these sourdough jar covers that this a lady named Susie, she sews them herself. I knew that was something that was just very sweet and I wanted to carry it. And then it was a lot of the stuff that we were using as well. Like I already loved this tea. I already loved this electrolyte brand. So I had been like mentally preparing for a store or dreaming of a store for several years. So that was ready to go. The e-commerce side, in some ways it's a very natural next step. We already had like website pictures. I already have like inventory systems. I already have ordering. Like I was already doing a lot of that stuff.
Right.
And so it was more like just building it out in person. The thing that's kind of a juggle now is like when we get a new product in, we have kind of a trial period of like, is it going to stay? Do we like it? Do people want it? If they do, then we get it photographed, then it goes up on e-commerce, and then it's like we can ship it out to wherever. And there's a lot of logistics of like what can ship if people buy like 10 pounds of meat and they want to add on like a sheepskin, some candles, some goat milks or goat cheese, some sheep milk soap, like what can ship together, what can't freeze, what's perishable, non-perishable, UPS, USPS, like there is a lot. What box size? We have box liners for the meats, there's dry ice. It's like there is quite a bit of logistical stuff that goes into it. But we have like a great team and we've been shipping a long time, and that I also knew that this would like essentially kind of save us. Like if no one came in person, I could just like double my storytelling online and marketing and talking about it, and hopefully still even like stay solvent without the foot traffic. But thank goodness we've had like really good foot traffic. February excluded,
Yeah, slowest month
February's
probably the
tough.
year.
Yeah.
The sun's out now, so maybe that'll start to change.
Literally it goes by the weather.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Nice days, people are out and about.
Yeah.
I was too. So
Exactly. So did I sufficiently kind of get into?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
A lot of pieces to it.
We talked about this off mic, but I just want to bring it into this conversation that it's so cool what you guys are doing. So many people want to start a little veggie farm or a little meat business, but the infrastructure in the area to get good quality feed or to get, a butcher date in the area, like processing facility, like these are the real pinch points for a lot of people starting their ventures. So I just think it's really cool that you're addressing one of the nodes, the center of the spoke,
Well, no, I feel like, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You should say something.
No, I don't want to.
Like, I think there's this myth that big equals resilient in the sense of like, well, our grocery stores are so resilient because they're buying so many eggs. And so that way the pricing's better and it's all just like the food chain, and we're going to be like less so because we're small. And we just have not found that to be true at all. Like, I feel like every year there's some gigantic disruption, whether it's COVID, whether it's like threat of war, whatever it is, just like craziness. Bird flu. And it's like we can sometimes get eggs for a better price than the grocery store. And that's because like the people we buy from have like a small farm, and these are small operations that aren't selling to bigger places, but they can sell to us. And sometimes our pricing is better. Like when beef went crazy after COVID, then we were better than the grocery store. And our pricing doesn't really change. Like our inputs are all local. We buy, our hay is right from the county. We don't even leave the county until then we just go to one county over when we process. Like it's a very resilient business model. So that kind of surprised me. And I think it makes me feel like it's, I don't know, just a risk I'm willing to take with a brick and mortar like this, because I genuinely feel like we have great stuff that kind of is a bit like chaos proof.
Yeah.
Like people...
We are more resilient for being more local, I suppose. Yeah.
I have felt like that's true.
Yeah. I think so.
Like I'm just thinking of like Eden Feeds, your awesome chicken feed. they're not huge, you know. So they're
Mhm.
in some other feed stores, but they're not going to get like probably a Tractor Supply contract and go across the whole country. Like they're here. I
Yeah.
don't know.
What do you hope the impact of this feed store? What's your hope it will have on the community, or what impact is it having already?
Yeah, just like a more of a community space, and I want I want to know people walk through the door. I want
Mm-hmm.
be like almost your friends coming in and say hi. I
Mhm.
don't know. Carry good products and have the knowledge and customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Try to keep that going because we don't see a lot of that anymore
Mm-hmm.
in any type of store.
Yeah, and you grew up here. Was there? I mean, did you see a change of that sort of community space falling away
I have,
throughout your
yeah,
lifetime? And
I definitely have, and I'm not sure what caused that, but
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just one store in particular.
It's like basically everywhere.
It's just a trend.
yeah,
I think
nationwide.
I'd like to hold on. I like to hold on to the old ways in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So
And I think for me, I would like this store provides for us as a family, like
Mhm.
a way for us to be with our son
Yeah.
here every day. We can kind of make our own schedule to a certain extent. I want to provide good jobs, like be a place where people want to work and stay and grow and learn and have like a really healthy work environment that's like supportive and, um, yeah, just like not toxic and
Yeah,
Yeah,
fun.
I'd like to be with my family every day,
Yeah.
hang out with Morgan every day.
Mhm.
that's super cool.
Yeah, and feel like I also have never, I can't sell stuff I don't believe in. Like it just doesn't, I can't do it. And so I don't do a lot of like brand deals because I like hate everything. I feel like everything's unnecessary. And so I love like, you know, when someone asks me, and people ask all the time, is this actually good? Like, okay, I see this dish soap here, but like, is it good? And I'm like, it's all I use. Like, let me tell you know, I'm like, step into my office. I'll talk your ear about this, off about this. It just feels very aligned of like, I never feel that yucky feeling of like, these are people, these are your
Like
neighbors. Like,
you're
I
getting
want
one over
them,
on them. Yeah.
yeah, I want them to like and to have a very good experience with everything that we have. And I feel like we have this like so many layers of removal now, in every store. No one's accountable like to quality or to the sourcing or to products at all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, trying to go back to how it used to be.
How the heck do you know how to do all this stuff? Did we get to that yet?
Oh my gosh, Zach,
Wing it. Hope for the
we
best.
just got barcodes. Luke, when did we get barcodes? Was it in like October? Yeah. November? Like we didn't even have barcodes on anything.
Yeah. So we just learned that one.
Yeah, we like I didn't know how to. It's like Googling how to do barcodes. Like I had no idea.
Google's been helpful.
Yeah, like
Wow.
so like I thought I knew how to calculate a profit margin. I thought you just like
Yeah.
multiplied it. Apparently there's a whole formula and there's like you do division. Like there's a whole
There's division. Oh, I don't
there's
know
like
that one.
yeah, like apparently markup and profit margin isn't the same thing. Just learned that. So I learn all this stuff like we have payroll now and workers comp and we have like I don't even know and like we have a payroll lady and she asked me questions and I'm like what I don't know what that is. You know, and I just have to Google it and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, sure.
We've asked for help in a lot of ways from other people we know that run stores, and
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You should tell about Lily.
yeah, Lily owns the Spurline in Livingston.
Oh yeah.
She's a friend of ours, I guess.
Mhm.
She's been very helpful, just pointing us in the right direction even. So
Yeah.
not sure if we could repair for that even. So
Yeah. She split, you know, trucks with us.
she
She's
split loads with us, and
sent me advice on like charge accounts and how to do it and like billing and
yeah. She says little feed stores have to stick together. So
she's very yeah, it's been
That's
really great.
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, humbling but it's also really cool to like start something because I feel like a lot of I don't know. Like we're so close to everything that I feel like it's creates a maybe a better like store or product experience. We're so small, like nothing gets past us. We can really try to like fix stuff and
yeah,
I don't know, like we're literally hearing what the customers are saying. We're here all the time and we're right over there at our desk and someone's saying like, oh, I had these brats and they were really good, but I didn't like this flavor as much. And I'm like, okay, noted. This one's not as whatever. So yeah.
And we don't seem to have a lot of like return products. So it's telling me that
Oh yeah, we don't get returns.
hardly ever.
Right. Wow.
It tells
I
me
got
that we're doing okay.
I got a negative review in my email about our beef the other day, and it was probably the first I've gotten in like 4 years. And because of some other things that customer had done, I'm like pretty sure it was just an attempt to get free meat and get a refund. I like don't even think it was a legit review, and that's not to say that we don't get like constructive feedback. We have people be like, oh, I see you have this, but you should carry this, or like, I didn't like this. My dog liked this one better than this one. We definitely get.
And I've gotten products in that I've discontinued because it didn't go over well. So
Definitely.
trying to.
Yeah, but I would say overall people have been like, I feel like they have a positive, it seems like people have a positive first experience and then come back. I don't know. We've talked about, we're in branching off and all kinds of different stuff, but.
That's really cool. So, not that you need to do anything else, but what are you thinking about? Like, what are your goals right now? What are your hopes and dreams at the moment?
I got a little dream of actually owning a little farm of our own instead of leasing and just being more self-sufficient all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like we don't own anything,
Yeah.
so I think that would like some security would be great.
Yeah.
I would love us to have a really good like 2025, like really good summer. So I'm thinking a lot about that and like products and how we can just be at our best when it gets really busy. And I'm really enjoying, like really for the first time since we started Little Creek like 7 years ago, like figuring out how to live better in terms of like still have room for hobbies, still have more family time, cook more. I think I am starting to figure out, and we've been figuring out together, like how to schedule, how to structure our lives so that, you come from a farming background where like we were lucky we could get off for our wedding,
Yeah.
like
I've never had a 40-hour week job in my life.
never.
Wow,
and finally I feel like we have our lives back in some ways. Like I feel like
We
that
still
for me
work.
at least. We work a lot, but we're home for bedtime, both of us, and
Yeah. Like we work for ourselves. We get to make our own schedule. We can work 7 days a week instead
Look at
of
that
5.
freedom, right?
That's
That's what that's
freedom.
called.
You get to choose to work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I think what's next for me is more like not business goals. It's
Yeah.
like
Refining what we have already.
Pallet racking for the warehouse.
Pallet racking will be great.
Oh yeah, stack them.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. And just, I want to make this space, I want to maximize the space and get some more seating in here. And just, I think if I can speak for you, like I think we want to get to more ranches. Like we have a lot of homestead, small farm
Right.
customers.
And I can see why we appeal to that.
Yeah. And branch out to maybe some more like people. I want a whole truckload of whatever, I want
Yeah.
12 of this instead
Growing
of
the
3 bags.
business to not just one niche, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That weird way to say
one
that.
type of customer. Mhm.
Going, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of like making a community space, didn't you just have like a 4-H meeting here? Like, is that?
Oh, yeah, that's
tell me
the
about
goal.
that part of the goal for the Feedstore.
I think we would love to have events here more. We just had our first event. It was a 4-H like informational session on how to select your breeding stock and
Yeah, it wasn't just about the products we carry, but
yeah,
they talked. It was informational, definitely.
yeah.
And it was our
Cool.
first event, and it went smooth and well received. I don't think we could have fit another person,
Mhm.
Wow.
so
Yeah,
it
what
was
our
almost
numbers?
crowded. Yeah,
Yeah, like
what's that?
70.
70
Wow.
people
Yeah.
had come almost.
It was really great. And like we are getting very involved in 4-H and we donate to a lot of the agricultural like causes and just getting more involved in that. I would love to do like classes here of like how to make your own pasta, how to make bread,
that
using
might
some
be
of the
coming.
products here.
Yeah.
I think that would be really
That'd be fun.
That's a great idea.
But it is sort of like I'm like, all right, let's have a year of maybe not doing
Just
one
let
more
the
thing all
store
the-
do
yeah,
well.
let's just
Yeah,
Not.
let's just
spend the summer refining what we have.
Huh. Yeah.
Instead of We could go on 3 more directions.
Justin
if we
literally
wanted
keeps trying to us me to start another feed store. Like, I'm not kidding you. He's like, we should
I
open
have
one in
mentioned
X
it.
town. He's like, they need one.
Oh, wow.
It'd do well.
Like,
Do well.
Yeah.
No shortage of ideas between the two of you, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for spending the time with me today.
Thank
Really
you,
appreciate
Zach.
your
It's been
time.
so fun.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to share before we turn off the machine?
Can I talk about our sheepskins?
Talk about your
Okay.
sheepskins.
I'm gonna show 'em
Yeah,
off.
yeah, get them.
So this is, yeah, like one of the things I'm most proud of that we do. These are the sheepskins from our flock. We have tons. They sell really fast usually, so we don't often or always have them in the store, but we do right now. And we get them, this is just kind of an example of like, we are trying to maximize and not waste anything when we're processing our sheep and our beef. So we get these naturally tanned. This is a mimosa bark tan. Gives it that pink, and that's just a tree. So they're not like bleached or anything toxic on them. And yeah, it's just like one of the odd little things you might find in this store that you wouldn't expect. I use these for everything like yoga, meditation mats, lap blanket. My baby plays on them all the time, like in the kitchen when I'm cooking. They're like great decor, but this is the kind of thing like you can't find like heritage naturally tanned sheepskins like for sale really anywhere aside from small farms. It's just one of the cool things that I love that we carry that is like totally unique. And some people come in, they're expensive because they cost a lot to tan. And some
bet,
people
yeah.
will come in here and be like, oh, they're so expensive. But like they don't usually like they don't last more than 24 hours.
Yeah.
I think our last
sell
drop
well.
was sold out in 2 hours. Like
Wow.
people that get it. And yeah, this is the kind of thing I'm like super proud to carry, and I feel like kind of sets us apart. Like we will never be that like kind of feed store selling like plastic. I don't even know. I go in these stores, I'm like, what even is that? Like, what is that for? In what universe did someone think that needed to be made? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Or
just everything is junk.
Yeah, you
Plastic
mentioned the
and inexpensive.
junkification of our lives.
Junkification. There's this term, I don't know if you've heard this, it's enshittification. It's essentially like the just worsening of like everything.
Yeah.
And I just
Definitely
feel like we're
noticed
in
that.
this
All these
consumer...
products that'll be in a landfill for 10,000 years.
Yes, like I'm not trying to sell people crap that's about to break down.
Yeah.
You know, like I love it. Even the sponges behind you are like locally made cellulose sponges that are just, they last so long in your pan. And then when you're done with them, you can compost them in your own compost pile. Like it's just so
These
cool.
things that last.
Mhm.
I mean, we cook on cast iron pans at home that were made in 1906. You
Yeah,
know?
we're working on getting like a really good cast iron
Yeah,
supplier.
we're
So there's
gonna try to figure that one
some
out.
fun
Oh,
stuff
that'd
that
be
we want to
good.
bring in, and might get into some more like some locally, you know, some good like wool and cotton and leather clothing made in Montana. I think that'll probably be like
working on that
down
one.
the
That's
line.
soon to come, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting.
But yeah, we're just not. I keep saying this, but like, not bringing stuff in just to bring it in, not filling the space to fill the space. Everything I'm like, if we were stuck with this, if not a single person ever bought it, would I still be happy to have like 5 pairs of these gloves? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like we would have to be. That's the rule.
You got to be able to live with your choices.
Yeah.
We could go through 3 ton of chicken feed. It'd just take a little while. You know?
Exactly. If it all ends tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Great way to look at your risk assessment.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
We'll eat it. Great, you two.
Anything
Well,
else? Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been so fun.
Thanks again to Caroline and Justin for joining us today. You can learn more about their Little Creek empire at the link in our show notes, which you can find by heading over to onland.link/podcast. On Land is a production of Western Landowners Alliance, a West-wide organization of landowners, natural resource managers, and partners dedicated to keeping working lands whole and healthy for the benefit of people and wildlife. This episode was hosted and produced by me, Zach Altman. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.